is Jacob Boyce, and today we will be talking about K9's. K9's have been used all over the world since pretty much the 18th century, so I'm going to be going over K9's in the 18th century, the 19th century, and the early 2000s. Growing up, I've had a lot of dogs, from small breeds to large breeds. Right now I actually have an English Bulldog and a Blue Heeler cattle dog. Neither one do what they used to do back in the day. They're both just home dogs. They hang out. So our first section, we'll be going over the 18th century. The number one dog in the 18th century that was used all over the world is the Saint Bernard. The Saint Bernard was real popular in Asia and Russia, mainly because of its ability to go long distances with little resources, and because of his thick coat, he could survive the rain and the winter conditions. So they used the Saint Bernard to pass messages to each other across the lands. The second most common dog in the 18th century is the English Setter. The English Setter was real popular in bird hunting. Bird hunting was a big thing in the 1800s because villagers used the bird feathers and meat for trade, and it was a good source of food and income. So they used the English Setter to help retrieve birds that they couldn't find and use them in many different ways. The third dog is the Collies. Collies were really big in Scotland. They were a cattle dog. They were mainly used to herd sheep. Their thick coat helped them navigate through the brush so that they really didn't get hurt whenever they were going through different lands. The next generation of dogs is the 19th century. The main dog in the 19th century is the Boston Terrier. The Boston Terrier was one of the first dogs to be bred in America. It was also one of the first house dogs, I guess. It was pretty much the first dog that didn't have little to no training and just lived in the house and didn't have a specific job. It's got its name because it came overseas from England, from the Terrier group, and the reason why it's called the Boston Terrier is because it was bred in Boston itself. The second most common dog in the 19th century is the Bull Terrier, which the Bull Terrier was a mix between a Bulldog and a Terrier. This dog was very popular for sport. It had the agility of a Terrier, but the demeanor of a Bulldog. So it was aggressive, yet very agile, unlike most Bulldogs you see, like the English Bulldog, which is very lazy and doesn't do much. This dog was mainly used for hunting, sport as in like courses, running courses. It was very fast, very agile. So people used these dogs to make money on bets in the 19th century. The third dog is the Airedale Terriers. These were a common farm dog in the 19th century, kind of an all-around dog. They were mainly used for bird hunting because of their ability to swim. They were very good in the water, very agile. They were very quick, very easy to train in the 19th century, and were a very common farm dog. As we move on to the 2000s, the breeds start to get a little bigger. The most common dog in the 2000s is the Labrador. The Labrador is mainly used as a family dog. In some cases you'll see it as a service dog because they're very easy to train, helping blind people navigate or even emotional support. These dogs are very common in most family situations because they're very loving, don't have a vicious background. The second most common dog in the 2000s is the German Shepherd. The German Shepherd was brought to America. It's actually used all over the world now as a common police dog. They are very smart, probably one of the smartest breeds at locating drugs is what they're mainly used for. Very good at listening. My uncle actually has 2 German Shepherds, and both of them were used on a SWAT team. If you gave it a command, it just did it without even questioning what it was doing. These dogs can be family dogs as well, but less likely because they do have more of a vicious side to them. If you get them in the right home, they can be good home dogs. The third dog is the Labrador Retriever. These dogs were originally bred to be bird hunters, to fetch birds, but what they learned whenever they were mixing the breeds is that they were kind of lazy. They didn't move around much. So these dogs slowly in the 2000s became more of a family-oriented dog. Very good with kids. I have a couple friends that have golden retrievers, and they're not vicious at all. Very smart and kind. Throughout the years, as you can see from the 1800s to the 2000s, the dog breeds started medium size, then went down to really small, and now we're up to the more common dogs are very large. Going on into the future, I'm curious to see how these dog breeds will expand. There are over thousands of dog breeds right now in the US alone. So I'm very curious to see how we will use dogs in the future, and how dogs will affect us later in life. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Do you need to record your audience?
Yay, audience.